chapter, I believe, 24. Almanzo goes away. Hey, Linda. How you doing, sweetheart? Gracie has had 2 cans of dog food, a handful of kibble, and what amounts to a full pork chop because she had half of mine and half of Howie's. Somebody is feeling, oh, so much better. And I'll tell you something, it all comes down to the drops, eh, Howie? Those Host No More drops is what saved her life. Excuse me. Hey, how's it going? All right. Almanzo goes away. Chapter 24 from These Happy Golden Years. Oh, yeah. She's on the couch right now. Every sound we make, she's jumping at and going, what? Oh, and by the way, for the folks that were on my live today, I found my rotary cutter. It may have been a little dull, but I got all my blocks cut and ready for assembly tomorrow on our half-acre homestead. Chapter 24, Almanzo goes away. Even at home, Laura felt that her ring was conspicuous. Its smooth clasp was strange on her first finger, and the garnet and pearls were constantly catching the light. Several times on the way to school next morning, she took it off and tied it into her handkerchief for safekeeping. But after all, she was engaged. That could not always be a secret. She did not mind being late, almost late to school that morning. There was barely time to slide into her seat with Ida before Mr. Owen called the room to order. And quickly she opened a book so that it hit her left hand. But just as she was beginning to study, a glitter caught her eye. Ida's left hand was resting on the desk where Laura would be sure to see the broad circlet of gold shining on her first finger. Laura looked from the ring to Ida's laughing, blushing, shy eyes, and then she broke a school rule. She whispered, "Elmer?" Ida blushed even rosier and nodded. Then under the edge of the desk, Laura showed Ida her own left hand. Mary Power and Florence and Minnie could hardly wait until recess to pounce upon them and admire their rings. "But I'm sorry you have them," Mary Power said, "for I suppose you will be quitting school now." "Not me," Ida denied. "I'm going to school this winter anyway." "So am I," said Laura. "I want to get a certificate again in the spring." "Will you teach school next summer?" Florence asked. "If I can get a school," Laura replied. "I can get the school in our district if I can get a certificate," Florence told them, "but I'm afraid of teachers' examinations." "Oh, you will pass," Laura encouraged her. There's nothing much to it if you only don't get confused and forget what you know. Don't worry about the noise. Howie's working on his... Are they heads, dear? He's working on his heads for his race car at the kitchen table. "Well, I'm not engaged, nor do I want to teach," said Mary Power. "How about you, Ida? Are you going to teach for a while?" Ida laughed. "No, indeed. I never did want to teach. I'd rather keep house. Why do you suppose I got this ring?" They all laughed with her, and Minnie asked, "Well, why did you get yours, Laura? Don't you want to keep house?" "Oh, yes," Laura answered, "but Almanzo has to build it first." And then the new big bell clanged in the cupola, and recess was over. There was no singing school now, so Laura did not expect to see Almanzo until next Sunday. She was surprised when Pa asked her Wednesday night whether she had seen Almanzo. "I saw him at the blacksmith shop," Pa told her. He said he'd see you after school if he could, and if not, to tell you he didn't have time. It seems he and Royal are leaving next Sunday for Minnesota. Something's come up and Royal's got to go sooner. Than expected. I apologize for the yawning, folks. Laura was shocked. She had known that Almanzo and his brother planned to spend the winter with their folks in Minnesota, but he had not intended to go so soon. It was shocking that the whole pattern of the days could be broken so suddenly. There would be no more Sunday drives. "It may be best," she said. "They will be sure to reach Minnesota before the snow falls." "Yes, they'll likely have good weather for the trip," Pa agreed. I told him I'd keep Lady while they were gone. He's going to leave the buggy here and said you are to drive lady as much as you please. Oh, my folks, I'm so sorry for yawning. You're to drive lady as much as you please, Laura. Oh, Laura, will you take me driving? Carrie asked, and Grace cried, me too, Laura, me too. Laura promised that she would, but the rest of that week seemed oddly empty. She had not realized before how often during a week she'd look forward to the Sunday drives. Early next Sunday morning, Almanzo and his brother Royal came. Royal was driving his own team hitched to his peddler's cart. Holy lifting! Almanzo drove Lady hitched single to his shining lazy back buggy. Pa came out of the stable to meet them, and Almanzo drove the buggy under the hay-covered shed. There he unhitched Lady and let her into the stable. Afterward, leaving Pa and Royal talking, he came to the kitchen door. He hadn't time to stop, he told Ma, but he would like to see Laura for a moment. Ma sent him into the sitting room as Laura turned from plumping up the cushions on the window seat. The ring on her left hand sparkled in the morning light. Almanzo smiled. Your new ring is becoming to your hand, he said. Laura turned her hand in the sunshine. The gold of the ring gleamed. The garnet glowed richly in the center of the flat oval set, and on either side of its pearls shimmered lustrously. It's beautiful, this ring, she said. I would say the hand, Almanzo replied. Then, I suppose your father told you that Royal and I are going home sooner than we expected. Royal decided to drive through Iowa, so we're starting now. I brought Lady in the buggy over for you to use whenever you please. Where is Prince? Laura asked. One of my neighbors is keeping Prince and Lady's colt, and Cap is keeping Barnum and Skip. I'll need all four of them this spring. A shrill whistle sounded from outside. Royal is calling, so kiss me goodbye and I'll go. Almanzo finished. They kissed quickly, and Laura went with him to the door and watched while he and Royal drove away. She felt left behind and unhappy. Then at her elbow, Carrie asked, Are you going to be lonesome? So soberly that Laura smiled. No, I'm not going to be lonesome, she answered stoutly. Oh, maybe I should do this in the afternoons, eh? No, I'm not going to be lonesome, she answered stoutly. After dinner, we'll hitch up Lady and go for a drive. Pa came in and went to the stove. It's getting so a fire feels good, he said. Carolyn, what do you think of staying here all winter instead of going to town? I've been figuring. I believe I can rent the building in town this winter, and if I can tar paper and side this house, maybe even paint it. That would be a gain, Charles, Ma said at once. Another thing, Pa continued. We have so much stock now, it will be a big job to move all the hay and the fodder. With this house sided outside and a good thick building paper inside, we'd be snug in here. We can put up the coal heater in the sitting room and get our winter supply of coal. There's a cellar full of vegetables from the garden, pumpkins and squashes from the field. Even if the winter's so bad we can't get to town often, we won't need to worry about being hungry or cold. Well, that's true, said Ma. But Charles, the girls must go to school. And it's too far for them to walk in the wintertime. A blizzard might come up. I will drive them there and back. It's only a mile, and it'll be a quick trip with the bobsled and no load. Very well, Ma consented. If you rent the building in town and want to stay here, I'm satisfied to do so. I will be glad not to move. So before the snow fell, all was snug on the homestead claim. In its new siding, the little house was really a house, no longer a claim shanty. Inside, thick gray building paper covered all the pine board walls. They had grown so brown with time that the lighter paper brightened the rooms, and the freshly starched white muslin curtains gave them a crisp look. When the first of heavy snows came, Pa put the wagon box on bobsled runners and half filled it with hay. Then on school days, Laura and Carrie, with Grace, snuggled between them, sat on the blanket-covered hay, with other blankets tucked over them and around them, while Pa drove them to the schoolhouse in the morning and brought them home at night to the warmly welcoming house. Every afternoon on his way to the school, he stopped at the post office, and once or twice a week, there was a letter for Laura from Almanzo. He had reached his father's home in Minnesota. He would come back in the spring. Now that I've stopped yawning, does anybody want chapter 25 tonight? The night before Christmas. Let me know. Where is the chat? Hey, Tina. So, yes or no? Yes or no to chapter 25? What you doing, Juju? Oh, yeah, I'm up to it. I enjoy sitting here reading to you folks. I really enjoy it. And when this is done, we'll do the first 4 years, and then I will do the next book in the Anne of Green Gables series. I do believe it is Anne of Ingleside. Okay. All right, here we go. Chapter 25, The Night Before Christmas. Christmas. On Christmas Eve again, there was a Christmas tree at the church in town. In good time, the Christmas box had gone to Mary, and the house was full of Christmas secrets as the girls hid from each other to wrap the presents for the Christmas tree. But at 10 o'clock that morning, snow began to fall. Still, it seemed that it might be possible to go to the Christmas tree. All afternoon, Grace watched from the window, and once or twice the wind moderated. By supper time, however, it was howling at the eaves, and the air was thick with flying snow. It's too dangerous to risk it, Pa said. It was a straight wind blowing steadily, but you never could tell. It might turn into a blizzard while the people were in the church. No plans had been made for Christmas Eve at home, so everyone had much to do. In the kitchen, Laura was popping corn in the iron kettle set into a hole of the stovetop from which she removed the stove lid. She put a handful of salt into the kettle, and when it was hot, she put in a handful of popcorn. With a long-handled spoon, she stirred it, while with the other hand she held the kettle's cover to keep the corn from flying out as it popped. When it stopped popping, she dropped in another handful of corn and kept on stirring. Now she need not hold the kettle cover, for the popped white kernels stayed on top and left the popping kernels from jumping out of the kettle. Ma was boiling molasses in a pan. When Laura's kettle was full of popcorn, Ma dipped some into a large pan, poured a thin trickle of the boiling molasses over it, and then buttering her hands, she deftly squeezed handfuls into popcorn balls. Laura kept popping corn, and Ma made them into balls, and the large dishpan was heaped with their sweet crispness. In the sitting room, Carrie and Grace made little bags of pink mosquito netting left over from last summer from the screen door. They filled the bags with Christmas candy that Pa had brought from town that week. It's lucky I thought we'd want more candy than we'd like to get at the Christmas tree, Pa took credit up to himself. He's working very hard on that motor. I love you, baby. Yeah. Oh, Gracie discovered. We made one bag too many. Grace miscounted. I did not, Grace cried. Grace, said Ma. I'm not contradicting, cried Grace. Grace, said Pa. Grace gulped. Pa, she said, I didn't count wrong. I guess I can count to 5. There was candy enough for another one, and it looks pretty in the pink bag. So it does, and it's nice to have an extra one. We haven't always been so lucky, Pa told her. Laura remembered the Christmas on the Verdigris River in Indian Territory when Mr. Edwards walked 80 miles to bring her and Mary each one stick of candy. Wherever he was tonight, she wished him as much happiness as he had brought them. She remembered the Christmas Eve on Plum Creek in Minnesota when Pa had been lost in the blizzard, and they feared he would never come back. He had eaten the Christmas candy while he lay sheltered 3 days under the creek bank. Now here they were in the snug, warm house with plenty of candy and other good things. Yet now she wished Mary were there, and she was trying not to think of Almanzo. When he first went away, letters had come from him often. They had come regularly. Now for 3 weeks there had been no letter. He was at home, Laura thought, meeting his old friends and the girls he used to know. Springtime was 4 months away. He might forget her, or wish that he had not given her the ring that sparkled on her finger. Pa broke into her thoughts. Bring me the fiddle, Laura. Let's have a little music before we begin on these good things. She brought him the fiddle box, and he turned the fiddle and tuned the fiddle and rosin the bow. What shall I play? Play Mary's song first, Laura answered. Perhaps she's thinking of us. Pa drew the bow across the strings, and he and the fiddle sang. Ye banks and braes and streams around the castle of Montgomery. Green be your woods and fair be your flowers, for your waters never drumly. Their summer first unfolds her robes, and there the langest tarry. For there I took the last farewell of my sweet Highland Mary. One Scots song reminded Pa of another, and with the fiddle he sang, My heart is sair, I dare nae tell, my heart is sair for somebody. Oh, I could make a winter night, for the sake of somebody. Ma sat in her rocking chair beside the heater, and Carrie and Grace were snug in the window seat, but Laura moved restlessly around the room. The fiddle sang a wandering tune of its own that made her remember June's wild roses. And then it caught up another tune to blend with Pa's voice. When marshaled on the mighty plain, the glittering hosts bestud the sky. One star alone of all the train can catch the sinner's wandering eye. It was my light, my guide, my all. It bade my darkness foreboding cease. And through the storm and danger's thrall, it led me to the port of peace. Now safely moored, my perils o'er, I'll sing first night in diadem. Forever and forevermore, the star of Bethlehem. Grace said softly, the Christmas star. The fiddle sang to itself again while Pa cocked his head, listening. The wind is rising, he said. Good thing we stayed home. Then the fiddle began to laugh, and Pa's voice laughed as he sang. Oh, do not stand so long outside. Why need you be so shy? The people's ears are open, John, as they are passing by. You cannot tell what they may think. They've said strange things before. And if you wish to talk a while, come in and shut the door. Come in, come in, come in. Laura looked at Pa in amazement as he sang so loudly, looking at the door. Come in, come in, come in. Someone knocked at the door. Pa nodded to Laura to go to the door while he ended the song. Come in and shut the door. A gust of wind swirled snow into the room when Laura opened the door. It blinded her for a moment. When she could see, she could not believe her eyes. The wind whirled snow around Almanzo. As speechless, she stood holding the door open. Come in, Pa called. Come in and shut the door. Shivering, he laid the fiddle in its box and put more coal on the fire. That wind blows the cold into a fellow's bones, he said. What about your team? I drove Prince and I put him in the stable beside Lady, Almanzo answered, as he shook the snow from his overcoat and hung it with his cap on the polished buffalo horns fastened to the wall near the door. Ma rose from her chair to greet him. Laura had retreated to the other end of the room, beside Carrie and Grace. When Almanzo looked toward them, Grace said, I made an extra bag of candy. And I brought some oranges, Almanzo answered, taking a paper bag from his overcoat. I have a package with Laura's name on it, too. But isn't she going to speak to me? I can't believe it's you, Laura murmured. You said you would be gone all winter. I decided I didn't want to stay away so long. And as you will speak to me, here is your Christmas gift. Come, Charles, put the fiddle away, said Ma. Carrie and Grace, help me bring in the popcorn balls. Laura opened the small package that Almanzo gave her. The white paper unfolded. There was a white box inside. She lifted its lid. There in a nest of soft white cotton lay a gold bar pin. On its flat surface was etched a little house. Everybody like jewelry. What do I like? Everybody like, women like jewelry for Christmas. What do I like for Christmas?
You're putting me on the spot. What do you like for Christmas?
What do I like most about Christmas? Family. That's right. There in a nest of soft white cotton lay a gold bar pin. That almost hit me.
Hang on.
Hang on to her. On its flat surface was etched a little house, and before it, along the bar, lay a tiny lake and a spray of grasses and leaves. Oh, it's beautiful, she breathed. Thank you. Can't you think of a fella better than that? He asked. And he put his arms around her while Laura kissed him and whispered, I'm glad you came back. Pa came from the kitchen bringing a hod full of coal, and Ma followed. Carrie brought the pan of popcorn balls, and Grace gave everyone a bag of candy. And while they ate the sweets, Almanzo told of driving all day long in the cold winds. And wait a second, I thought his neighbor was keeping prints. So if he drove back,
He stopped by the neighbors.
yeah, Thank you, going ape costume. Well, that was lovely. Thank you for that. Okay, you might want another chapter then. Let me know, because you done paid for one. While they ate the sweets, Almanzo told of driving all day in the cold winds and camping on the open prairie with no house nor shelter near. And as he and Royal drove south into Nebraska, he told of seeing the beautiful Capitol building at Omaha, of muddy roads when they turned east into Iowa, where the farmers were burning their corn for fuel because they could not sell it for as much as 25 cents a bushel. That's where corn pellet stoves came from, eh, dear? I want to get one for the basement. He told of seeing the Iowa State Capitol at Des Moines, of rivers in flood that they crossed in Iowa and Missouri until they faced the Missouri River. They turned north again. So with interesting talk, the evening sped by until the old clock struck 12. Merry Christmas, Ma said, rising from her chair. Merry Christmas, everyone answered. Almanzo put on his overcoat, his cap and mittens, and said good night, and went out into the storm. Faintly, the sleigh bells rang as he passed the house on his way home. Where was he going to stay? I guess at the store, eh? Oh no, they have a claim shanty. Okay. Did you hear them before? Laura asked Pa. Yes, and nobody was ever asked to come in oftener than he was, said Pa. I suppose he couldn't hear me in the storm. Come, girls, Ma said. If you don't get to sleep soon, Santa Claus will have no chance to fill the stockings. In the morning, there would be all the surprises from the stockings, and at noon, there would be the special Christmas feast with a big fat hen stuffed and roasted brown and juicy, and Almanzo would be there, for Ma had asked him to Christmas dinner. The wind was blowing hard, but it had not the shriek and howl of a blizzard wind, so probably he would be able to come tomorrow. Oh, Laura, Carrie said, as Laura blew out the lamp in the bedroom. Isn't this the nicest Christmas? Do Christmases get better all the time? Yes, Laura said. They do. All right. Who wants another chapter? Oh, well, wonderful. Thank you very much. All right. One more chapter. And then I'm going to start getting ready for bed. Chapter 26, The Teacher's Examinations. Through a March snowstorm, Laura rode to town with Pa on the bobsled to take the teacher's examinations. There was no school that day, so Carrie and Grace stayed home. Winter had been pleasant on the claim, but Laura was glad that spring was coming soon. Vaguely, as she rode in the nest of blankets on hay, she thought of the pleasant winter Sundays with the family in Almanzo in the cozy sitting room. And she looked forward to long drives again through the summer sunshine and wind. She wondered if Barnum would still be gentle after the long winter in a stable. As they neared the schoolhouse, Pa asked if she were nervous about the examinations. "Oh, no," she answered through the frosty veil. "I'm sure I can pass. I wish I were as sure of getting a school I will like." "Well, you could have the Perry School again," said Pa. "I would rather have a larger one with no pay." Now remember, the Perry School paid her $25 a month, and she could walk to it from her house. Just remember that. "Well," Pa said cheerfully as he stopped at the schoolhouse, "the first bridge is the examinations. And here we are. Time enough to cross the next bridge when we come to it." Laura was impatient with herself because she felt timid when she went into the room full of strangers. Nearly every desk was occupied, and the only person she knew was Florence Wilkins. When she touched Florence Wilkins' hand, she was startled. It was as cold as ice, and Florence's lips were pale from nervousness. Laura felt sorry for her Laura felt so sorry for her that she forgot her own timidity. "I'm scared," Florence said in a low, shaking voice. "All the others are old teachers, and the examination is going to be hard. I know I'll never pass." "Pooh, I bet they're scared too," Laura said. "Don't worry, you'll pass all right. Just don't be frightened. You know you've always passed examinations." And then the bell rang, and Laura faced the lists of questions. Florence was right. They were hard. Working her way through them, Laura was tired when intermission came. By noon, she felt her own heart failing. She began to fear she would not get a certificate, but she worked doggedly on until at last she was through. Her last paper was collected with the others, and Pa came to take her home. "I don't know, Pa," she said in answer to his question. "It's harder than I expected, but I did the best I could." "No one can do better than that," Pa assured her. At home, Ma said that no doubt it would be all right. "Now don't fret. Forget about it until you hear the results of the examinations." Ma's advice was always good, but Laura repeated it to herself every day and almost every hour. She went to sleep telling herself, "Don't worry," and wake up thinking with dread, "The letter may come today." At school, Florence had no hope for either of them. "It was too hard," she said. "I'm sure only a few of the oldest teachers passed it." A week went by with no word. Laura hardly expected Almanzo to come that Sunday, for Royal was sick with the gripe. The grippy, the gripe, whatever you call it. Almanzo did not come. There was no letter on Monday and no letter on Tuesday. A warm wind had melted the snow to slush, and the sun was shining, so on Wednesday, Pa did not come for Laura. She and Carrie and Grace walked home. The letter was there. Pa had got it that morning. "What does it say, Ma?" Laura cried as she opened her coat and crossed the room to pick up the letter. "Why, Laura," Ma said in astonishment, "you know I'd no more look at another person's letter than I would steal." With shaking fingers, Laura tore the envelope and took out a teacher's certificate. It was a second grade one. "Oh, it's better than I expected," she told Ma. "The most I hoped for was a third grade. Now if only I could have the good luck to get the right school." "A body makes his own luck, be it good or bad," Ma said placidly. "I have no doubt you will get as good as you deserve." Laura had no doubt that she would get as good a school as she could get, but she wondered how to make herself the good luck to get the one she wanted. She thought about little else that night, and she was still thinking about it the next morning when Florence came into the schoolroom and came directly to her. "Did you pass, Laura?" "Yeah, I got a second grade certificate," Laura answered. "I didn't get any, so I can't teach our school," Florence said soberly. "But this is what I want to tell you. You tried to help me, and I would rather you taught our school than anyone else. If you want it, my father says you may have it. It's a 3-month school beginning in the 1st of April, and it pays $30 a month." Now, okay, I'll tell you in a minute. Laura could hardly get a breath to answer. Oh, yes, I do want it. Father said if you did, to come and see him and the board will sign the contract. I'll be there tomorrow afternoon, Laura said. Thank you, Florence, so much. Well, you've always been so nice to me, and I'm glad of a chance to pay some of it back, Florence told her. Laura remembered what Ma had said about luck, and she thought to herself, I believe we make most of our luck without intending to. She's going to stay with the Wilkins, and she's going to pay room and board of $2 a week, which means she's only going to make $22 a month. She should have taken the Perry School, but we'll see that in the next chapter. Thank you guys for hanging with me. And tomorrow night we will read. We're getting down there, folks. This is only how much we got left. Tomorrow night is School Days End. Thank you for hanging with me, and I will see you tomorrow night. Fingers crossed. Take care. God bless. Poke. Poke.